guys, Food Dude here. Welcome back to the show. Happy 2012. I hope you guys had a good celebration. I hope you had great holidays and a good Christmas. I had a good Christmas because Santa Claus brought me her. Her name is Mittens. She's a Birman kitten. She just turned 4 months old. I had her for a month now. And I never really had kittens before. I had dogs when I was growing up. So before getting her, I was doing a lot of research about, what's best for cats, how to keep them healthy, and because I'm a health freak, so I want to research and do what's best for her. And of course, the mainstream, the orthodox way to keep a cat is to feed him or her dried food, canned food, all this bagged stuff and all that. And so I find this common trend now, how, if you check my previous videos, and we're talking about how in the last 100 years, when the introduction of these chemicals into our foods, all the canned stuff, bagged stuff, all colorings, preservatives, and all those chemicals that shouldn't really be in our foods at all. And they are the culprits of humans developing a lot of illnesses such as cancers and tumors, diabetes, arthritis, obesity, heart disease, and stuff like that. So all these diseases that before this modern food was introduced, they were pretty rare. And so now, because we're also feeding our pets with that kind of foods, which are even lower quality than the ones made for humans, because they do not have as high quality standards than human food would have. And so for pet food, for example, I've been reading in the ingredients, and they still use some chemicals that have been proved to be carcinogens for humans, but they haven't really done it for animals, and so they keep using it. And so, of course, now we're dealing with a lot of pets who are overweight, pets who are, developing tumors, cancers, arthritis, diabetes, the same conditions that we are developing. And this is mostly because of their food, We're trying to be too convenient, trying to save time, trying to save money, just feed them, this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, if you go to the vet will tell you, yeah, this is good for you, but it's the same deal, when you go to the doctor will know more about drugs than he will know about food and diet and lifestyle. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. And so what I tried to investigate, I found a really good ebook that I'm linking there. It is called Raw Cats, but you can also use this information for dogs if you have a dog. You have to remember that just pets as humans, our DNA, our genes do not evolve as fast as modern food and technology have, or agriculture. They take millions of years to adapt to an environment and to adapt to new foods. And so we have to remember that cats and dogs, look at their wild counterparts, wolves or like tigers and lions and stuff like that. When they're in the wild, they would never get diabetes, they would never get cancers or tumors or, get obese or anything like that. Because they're eating what they're meant to be eating. They're hunters, they're carnivores, and that's what they do. And your cat and your dog as well. So they're meant to be thriving on raw meat and raw organs as well, because when they hunt an animal, they eat the whole thing. They not just eat the muscles and leave everything else. And so this book deals with this kind of information. It tells you, yeah, your cat or your dog, they should be eating actually raw organic food, raw organic meat, raw organic liver, raw organic kidneys and heart, because they need to eat the organs, because the organs have a different nutrient profile than the muscle as well. For example, if you just give steaks or chicken breast and stuff like that, you will be missing a few amino acids, essential amino acids such as taurine, which is abundant in liver or in the heart, for example. And so what you need to do, or what I've been doing, and I would recommend you to do, is I go to the organic butcher and I get my cuts, some meat, and I also get the organs. I got heart, I got kidney, I got liver. And Mittens, for example, she doesn't really like liver by itself, but I found that if I mix it with some sardines or if I mix it with some other cut, she would eat it. And so that's a really good way to keep your pets healthy. And it's also really cheap. I mean, it's not really expensive to feed them raw organic meat at all. I mean, I'm surprised it could be even cheaper than buying cat food or dog food. So what I do is just keep these little cuts. I just cut them and put them in little bags, keep them in the freezer. And when she's hungry, what I do is I get one of these bags out. I do not warm it in the microwave. I do not have a microwave. I don't really like them. But I heat it up or defrost it with hot water. So I just put like the hot running water and I just wait for it to be soft, kind of like room temperature, and she loves it. So also another thing you don't have to worry too much about, if you see your cat or your dog just pretty much like ripping the meat and swallowing it, it's not really chewing, she's just pretty much swallowing. Mittens do that. And also, once again, let's extrapolate to their counterparts, like the wild versions of these animals, you know. Lions and wolves, you know, they don't really chew because they don't have molars. They have more, you know, all carnivores have a lot of, you know, these long, strong, pointy teeth with really strong jaws. As opposed to humans, our jaw is really weak compared to theirs, and we have a lot of molars. So we're meant to be chewing stuff before swallowing, and probably you know this if you've been following my videos. But in their case, they pretty much just rip the meat or the heart or whatever they're eating and they swallow it. Why? Because their digestive juices are so strong that that's plenty for them to being able to break down, to digest and absorb all the nutrients from these cuts and these organs. And so don't worry very much about it. In fact, you know, the fact that they are ripping the meat from the bone or whatever, like, it's actually helping them to develop strong teeth, you know, healthy teeth, you know, strong jaws, and that's the way they should be eating. So if we always give them means or, you know, canned food and stuff like that, you're not really promoting a healthy jaw and healthy denture. They also like raw eggs. I've been giving her a little bit of milk, but milk still I don't have a strong opinion about it, so I'm just gonna hold it for a moment. But you can give her raw eggs. She loves the yolk. The yolk is really rich in nutrients, and your dog can also benefit from it as well. She loves chicken necks. When she's older, maybe she can have some turkey necks. And she just goes for it. She takes a while, but she rips it and then she shreds it and she eats it, and she's so happy after that. I noticed, you know, when I got her, she was eating, of course, conventional food, so, you know, cat food, and her poo were really stinky. But I noticed now, since she's been eating this raw organic food, her poo just doesn't smell like nothing, and their pee has a really mild smell as well, and that's a sign of a good digestive system. It's the same with humans. When we eat a lot of stuff we really shouldn't be eating, our digestion becomes not really good, and, you know, our poos are kind of like weird looking and smelly and all that. But when we eat, you know, raw organic vegetables and fruit and stuff, healthy stuff, you know, the digestive system will do its work, and you won't get any gas or wind or, you know, anything like that. So yeah, keeping an eye on your dog's poo is a really good way to see how her digestion is working. And she also likes, I got some sardines, so she loves fish. With fish, I'm just gonna be careful with the bones, because, as you know, they're a little bit pointy. But really, we shouldn't underestimate them. They're really amazing creatures, you know, just like we are. The thing is that they're not being exposed to their natural environment. And now we're afraid to take them outside because, you know, something would bite them, or like she's gonna get sick or anything like that. For example, I've been told that I have to warm Mittens every 2 months because it's normal for cats to have worms. And no, it's not normal for cats to have worms. It's normal for unhealthy cats to have worms, all right? So I'm going to, of course, keep an eye on her, but if you give your dog and your cat the food they're meant to be eating, just like us, they're going to be healthy. Their immune system is going to be healthy. Their blood, you know, their circulation, their joints, their sugar levels are going to be all in optimal level. And also their moods will be great. You know, they won't be moody or angry or depressed, or, you know, because these poor animals, they also suffer from the same as we do when we're exposed to foods that we shouldn't be eating. And probably more notorious in them because their lifespan is naturally shorter than ours. And so really I would suggest you to, you know, re-evaluate the way in which you've been feeding your pets. If you only feed them, you know, dry food, canned food, because that's the way it is and that's the way we're conditioned to believe it is, really have a second look. You can start introducing some raw organic meat into their diet. Just start with a little bit. Let's see how it works. I'm pretty sure they will love it. And eventually you can start increasing the amount of raw organic food that you put in their diet. Remember, you have to, you know, use a variety of beef and chicken, and you put some fish, And in Australia, we have the kangaroo as well. So it's good for them to have a variety of things. Try always to picture them in nature. What would they be doing? All right. And also, speaking of that, I've been trying, I've been taking Mittens outside with the leash, because I want her to be exposed to the grass, to the wind, to the trees, for animals. It's like with us, it's really important for all animals to be in touch with nature. For them to develop a healthy immune system, strong immune system, you need to be exposed to, all the natural bacteria on the soil, on the trees and everything. And that way your cat and your dog will be very healthy. And so, yeah, there's not really many people that walk their cat. I always get kind of looked at when I'm like walking Mittens. But she's a cat, she's meant to be outside. I mean, when we think that cats should be at home all day long, it's not really good for them. I mean, we're conditioned to believe that because they're domesticated. But believe me, all animals take millions of years to adapt and to be okay with the new environment. And for them being at home all the time for their genes is a weird environment. It's not the way they're supposed to be. And so, yeah, I'm not saying just let them run all day long outside, but really if you can every day take them outside, let them play, it's really good for them. It's really good for them, and if on top of that you just start introducing these raw organic foods, you can expect your pet to be way healthier and way happier than if you're just keeping them at home, feeding them man-made food, full of chemicals, preservatives, artificial ingredients that nobody, and including them, should be eating, because that's not food. Our genes do not recognize that, they do not know what to do with it, and yeah, it's one of the triggers and causes of many chronic diseases that we're seeing today. Alright guys, well, I hope this was some valuable information for you. Really have a look at that ebook if you can. I'm gonna link it in the description of the video. And yeah, any questions, any suggestions, any ideas, just send it my way. And this is Carlos Salazar, this is lifematters.ws. Have a great day. Bye-bye.